Hello, and welcome to another Rangaroos Unit of the Week, and today we're taking a look at the Reihenwerfer, available to the 21st Panzer Division. So, after the fall of France, the Germans had managed to capture a bunch of French military equipment, and as the war was going on, the Germans didn't have as much German equipment, and they just needed equipment to fill out their divisions and battalions, regiments, etc. So they looked to some of the French stock, yet they managed to capture. And a man called Alfred Becker, who's very interested in mechanical history, designed a lot of the rear-looking vehicles that 21st Panzer Division used. Apparently, he was captured in late 1944 and he's never been heard from since, so a bit of a mysterious disappearance. But nonetheless, the French had the Shomu MCG, which was a 1930s transportation half-track, and a bunch of 81mm mortars that were just sitting around in warehouses not doing anything. So Mr. Becker got two and two together and decided to make mortar half-tracks. But there are so many bloody 81mm mortars, why not just put 16 of them on the back of one half-track? And so they did, by setting two rows of 81mm mortars. It was a rather devastating barrage of fire power. It's very similar to like a rocket artillery system, but with mortars. In game, they shoot all at once, but historically, they'd be fired in rapid succession, one after the other, and they'd be used by the Germans, specifically 21st Panzer Division in northern France. In game, the Reihenwerfer is a 135-point artillery unit available exclusively to the 21st Panzer Division, exclusively in B phase. And it has, well, one weapon, but two different ammunition types. So you got high explosive and smoke munitions. For the high explosive, you got 10 HE damage. That's per individual mortar, so if you times it by 16, that's how much damage a barrage could potentially do. And you have 96 shots. Same thing, that's per mortar. Yeah, it equates to 6 whole barrages, 1.2 kilometer range, and 30 meter AOE. And then you got smoke, same range and everything, but you only have 3 barrages worth of smoke munitions. It doesn't sound like a lot of ammo, considering like you only have them in barrages instead of like individual. But considering that one barrage can potentially do 160 HE damage, of course it's spread out over a wide area. That's pretty good. That's pretty good bang for your buck, I'd have to say. And because it fires them all at once, it just dishes out the damage in a pretty much complete surprise alpha attack. Pop down to a Miscellaneous stat, you got 2 frontal armor, 1 at side and 1 at back, and it is an open top vehicle. It has bad stealth, a speed of 20 km an hour off-road and 50 km on the road, and very low optics capability. In battle, the Reihenwerfer is really bloody good. It's one of the best artillery pieces in game, I have to think. I understand when I made the Steel Division divisional tier list, people were rightfully concerned why the hell I put 21st Panzer as an A tier division. You don't see him in tournaments that much, and it seems a bit silly. I mean, they seem pretty crap compared to what other divisions can bring. But personally, the Reihenwerfer is pretty much the reason why they are an A tier division. Of course, they have some other good things that go for them too, but the Reihenwerfer, if used efficiently, can really allow you to just control the absolute flow of battle. Because with the HE shots, you can just destroy everything. Absolutely everything that's static and doesn't have armor. If there's an AT gun over here, one barrage, boom, it usually dies. Sometimes you do a barrage and it completely misses the AT gun and it hits everywhere apart from it, like that scene in the Ali G movie. But that's just the way of the road, that's just how sometimes it works. But for the most time, it's pretty consistent at knocking out 17 pounders, and you need those AT guns instead to move forward your Panzer IVs, Beuter Shermans, etc. It's great for clearing out forests with infantry. Barrage into it, you probably hit something. It's also really great against tanks. It's not going to kill tanks, but it's really going to stress them up extremely quickly. One barrage, boom, a whole blob of tanks of Shermans and Achilles and Cromwells are going to be backing up, because this thing does 160 HE damage spread over a rather wide area. That's a lot of damage in one barrage. It has decent enough range. You got 6 barrages before having to reload, which is pretty good, and it takes a little bit while to reload a unit, so you do have a bit of time. It's also really good for smoking areas. It's one of the best smoking units in game, as you can smoke an entire huge blob of land, and smoke really makes you a good player if you know how to use it efficiently. You can use it to protect your units, you can use it to block the enemy's line of sight, and for 21st Panzer, you really need to use that smoke efficiently, as you kind of lack the range advantage, because you don't have Panthers and Tigers to help you out in long range against like Wolverines and Achilles and Fireflies. So being able to smoke them off so you can get your Panzer IVs within the 1 kilometer range to actually be able to effectively engage those tanks is extremely bloody important. And it's a really good tip with the Reihenwerfer. The HE and the smoke are technically 2 separate weapons in the game files. So you can smoke an area, and then you could immediately do a high explosive barrage on the area, which is such a good 1-2 punch. You smoke the enemy, you completely blind them, and then you do all high explosive damage. You're probably not going to kill everything, but they're all going to be suppressed and falling back. And then you can just move up and take out ground easy peasy. And that's what makes the Reihenwerfer so bloody good. I love this thing so much. It's one of my most fun units to use, as it definitely seems like a really janky piece of crap. I mean, just look at it. It's like a crappy like church organ on like a weird French half-track. But if you know how to use a smoke and use the high explosive barrage efficiently, you can make 21st Panzer a really powerful contender, and this is one of the key units for it. So I think that's enough rambling on this janky artillery piece, and I'm going to leave it off. Yeah, this has been another Rang Rouge unit of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as usual, please just take it easy.